The legendary musician, late Sonny Okosun, sang Which Way Nigeria so many years back. If I'm not mistaken, as at the time this album was released, as at then, there was no issue of ethnic tension as we're experiencing it now. The issue of religious bigotry that has dominated our political scene was not this pronounced. The issue of unnecessary politicking that is now, perversing the entire system in Nigeria today was not this pronounced. If I'm not mistaken, it was even during the military era. He sang Which Way Nigeria. As at then, things were not this expensive. As at then, things were far more affordable. As at then, there was unity among virtually the entire regions. The question is this: can we now say that the music Sonny Okosun sang so many years back is now being functional, is now being applicable with the present situation Nigeria finds itself? And moreover, do we really need to start asking ourselves now that which way Nigeria, putting into perspective the issue of insecurity, putting into perspective the issue of religiosity that has overridden the so-called unity in diversity, ethnic sentiment here and there. Our political leaders are not helping matters, all because of inordinate ambition. You see them, sponsoring all manners of, I don't even know how to paint it, because I don't want to use some derogatory statement on this radio station. But of course, Sonny Okosun is right, and I equally think that I'm equally right, that the song Sonny Okosun sang so many years back is now more applicable with the present situation the great country Nigeria find itself.
Many years after independence, we still find it hard to start. How long shall we be patient before we reach the promise?
It is with great pleasure that I welcome you to one of the most informative, educative, and analytical program on your favorite radio frequency, iPower 102.7 FM, transmitting live from Emurele, Owo. The program is Echo of the Past. As we all know, there's nothing we do in the past that doesn't take dominance in the present, and the ability for us to start making amends where necessary. We call it go a long way in determining what we'll be discussing again in so many years to come on this our great program, Echo of the Past. It is on this note that I welcome you on board, both my listeners and every other person, that you stay glued to this radio station to listen to Echo of the Past, one of the programs that bring you to speed on events that has happened in the past, on events that is happening at the moment, if need be, and of course, projection of possibilities of what will happen in the future.
Oh yeah, I want to know which way Nigeria is headed.
Echo of the Past is a unique program that takes listeners beyond newspapers' headlines and calendar dates to the very heartbeat of history itself. It explores the events, decisions, personalities, and circumstances that have shaped and continue to shape the Nigerian nation. Through detailed analysis and historical perspective, the program examines issues affecting Nigeria politically, religiously, ethnic-wise, economically, and its social landscape. It also places under the spotlight the ideals, challenges, fragility, and the sustainability of the Nigerian enduring slogan, unity in diversity. At times when I put into perspective that slogan, unity in diversity, are we really united now? Is our diversity not taking dominance? Has it not overridden unity? These are questions begging for answer, because we've gotten to a stage in this country that we don't need to deceive ourselves. We need to start facing the fact we need to start facing the reality that is right before us. Is there still unity in diversity? Recently, we heard about the change in the national anthem, maybe when the president emerged. We heard about the change in NYSC uniform and maybe this stuff. And to the extent that now, corpers now can begin to apply for the region they want to serve. Are we not saying that some of these good, wonderful policies that has brought about the unity is in the state that is not tearing the fabrics of this country? Because now, parents can no longer send their children to schools out of their region. In fact, even some parents are not even sending their children away from their region to another peaceful region. This can be fact-checked. Can any parent now be so happy? Can any parent go to the bed with their two eyes closed whenever their children is being sent to maybe northern Nigeria for the NYC program? That is when you begin to see all manners of deployment letter on health ground. That is when you begin to hear that a boy of 28 years old is not saying that he has prostrate, a sickness that is meant for someone that's above 60. Beyond historical analysis, Echo of the Past provides an interactive platform where listeners can actively participate. The program features the feedback segment, during which listeners are invited to call in and share their views, opinions, observations, and contribution on topical issues ranging from politics, the economy, religion, security, entertainment, and other matters of public interest. On that note, I warmly welcome you on board today on the edition of Echo of the Past. I remain my humble self, AKIN ADEBAYO, popularly known as the Echo Man. I want to go on a short break. Please don't change the dial.
Oh yeah, I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. Many years after independence, we still find it hard to start. How long shall we be patient before we reach the promised land? Let's save Nigeria so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way? Which way Nigeria? Tell me which way to go. Which way Nigeria? Which way?
Welcome back. It's still Echo of the Past on your darling station, iPower 102.7 FM in Relay Owo. Today, we shall be continuing from where we stopped last week in our last edition about the colonial penetration. That is where we'll be continuing again from today. Our time is not, we don't really have much time, but of course, we just have to make do of the time provided by the station. As always, we shall trace its origin like we did last week. We shall go to examine the development over time and analyze its impact on our societies today. We also encourage you to stay tuned and participate in the feedback and segments where your opinions and contribution will enrich the discussion.
Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah, I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. Many years after independence, we still find it hard to start. How long shall we be patient before we reach the promise?
Like we said, on January 1914, the British government amalgamated the Northern and Southern Protectorate into a single colony known as Nigeria. Officially, the amalgamation was presented as a measure to improve administrative efficiency. However, the principal motivation include reducing administrative costs, using the Southern Protectorate revenue surplus to support the financial weaker Northern Protectorate, simplifying colonial administration, strengthening British political and economic control. I'm going to sum all this up in one narrative. It simply means that the 1914 amalgamation was not about the unity of Nigeria. It was strictly for economic purpose, particularly to reduce costs, and of course, to make sure that, okay, raw materials are easily being transported. Like we made it to understand last week, in northern Nigeria, they have their own way of of their own way of life, governance, and administration. While the Southeastern has theirs, Southwest equally has theirs. But of course, they brought all. To me, I would say that it's the coming together of strange bedfellows, because ideologically, religiously, just name it. To me, I'm not advocating for, what you may be thinking, no, but we don't need to deceive ourselves. It appears we are just completely different in all ways. In all ways. And that is why it is now happening at the moment. It was then that I begin to doubt if really we are not the same. But now it is becoming obviously obvious. I'm being emphatic here. It's becoming obviously obvious that indeed our reasoning is completely different. Or how do we narrate it? In the case whereby you said you cannot allow beer or alcohol to be sold in your own region. And at the end of the day, some people will drinking beer and alcoholic drink in their own region, and at the end of the day, the money generated will not be used to sponsor project over there. It's just like an imam saying that he doesn't eat dog, and the pastor sold his dog, gave the imam out of the money. I'm sorry, has he not eaten dog? These are the issues. But these are issues they don't actually want us to discuss. And until we begin to understand all these things, I can assure you, the unity of Nigeria in diversity will become more weakened as time goes on.
Many years after independence, we still find it hard to start.
Importantly, there was little consultation with the diverse people who inhabited the territories. It was a bitter pill pushed down the throat. The 1914 amalgamation was seen as a marriage of inconvenience. It's just like you bringing a completely different man and a woman together that did not even have anything whatsoever in common. You not even allow them to toast each other, like I would say in normal layman's language. Never allow them to woo each other. And you now said you now arrange the wedding, okay, you marry this, and that is why. Look, okay, just like the problem you're having in so many marriages these days. Some we call it arranging marriage. At the end of the day, or matchmaking, yeah, let me put it that way, matchmaking. At the end of the day, and when ordinarily should have passed through courtship, whereby they should have understand each other better. Before you see Jack Robinson, everybody moves very high. They get married, and before you know what is going on in 1-2 months, everybody goes their separate ways. All because there was no courtship. There was no relationship whatsoever. There was no any form of understanding, studying each other to know the do's and don'ts. And that was exactly what happened in 1914. And that is why I see it as kind of marriage of inconvenience. Because it was convenient for the colonialists to actually merge us together for their own economic reasons. But at the level of the people that actually inhabit the colony called Nigeria, based on our religious belief, based on our ideology, based on our various ethnic backgrounds, there shouldn't have been room for that amalgamation. So it was titled to be a kind of marriage of inconvenience.
Which way, Nigeria? Tell me which way to go. Which way?
Like I said, there was little consultation with the diverse people who inhabited the territories. Nigeria, therefore, emerged as an artificial political creation composed of hundreds of ethnic groups, languages, culture, and political systems that have evolved independently over centuries. Underline, that has evolved independently over centuries. Which simply means they just woke up one day and became Nigeria, without any form of cultural cultivation, without any form of cultural integration. They just woke up one day and became became Nigeria. If I'm not some pastor will equally tell you that how do you expect a child that your woman friend gave name to do well? Because according to what we have, Flora Shaw, a mistress, if you should know what mistress means, a mistress to Lord Lugard, actually gave Nigeria the name Nigeria. Maybe I think I'll try to fact check it anyway. But let us put it that way. So how do like the religious leader will tell us, how can you allow your woman friend to give your child during the christening the name? There's no how the child will not misbehave And probably I wouldn't know how true that such conspiracy theory or such narrative could be. But by and large, are we really getting ourselves as one country, as in Nigeria? The answer is best known to you as well.
Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go?
The amalgamation unified territories administratively, but did not create a shared national identity. We did not go, I'll tell that again. The amalgamation unified territories, it just only brought about unification of territories. I wouldn't say unity. I deliberately used that, unification. It brought about unification of territory, that is for the interest of the colonialists. And there was no unity whatsoever, because there was no time we actually agreed. Even till date, some people are still telling you in the first clause of Nigerian constitution that we Nigerians, some people still ask you the question, where did we gather to actually agreed on the constitution guiding our conduct in this country as a nation? Some people are still asking that questions. No talk of 1914, where the colonialists came without putting into consideration the ethnic, religious, political, diversity. They just match everybody together. And I will call it fact check. That unity in diversity, who actually coined that slogan out? Because I'm very, very sure the colonialists wouldn't have done that. All because we choose to now manage ourselves, we now decided to now coin that unity in diversity. And that unity in diversity is what is being questioned now by virtue of various ethnic upheaval that is going around, religious sentiment that is going around, political rigmaroling, just name it. Insurrection, kidnapping, insecurity. It's alarming. And that is where the issue of this unity in diversity comes to bear. That indeed, how united are we in our various diversity?
How long shall we be patient before we reach the promised land? Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die.
Like I said, this program is segmented. Now we are now in the segment of you calling in to hear your views, opinions, contribution, and if probably you have a contrary view to what I've been saying, your opinion, your view is highly welcome. And to contribute your own quota, join us through the studio line 081 6552 4699. I call that again, 081 6552 4699.
Independence, we still find it hard to start. How long shall we be patient before we reach the promised land? Let's save Nigeria.
The creation of Nigeria brought together societies with markedly different historical experiences. The Hausa Fulani Emirates had highly centralized political institutions. The Yoruba kingdoms possesses sophisticated monarchical system with varying degrees of decentralization. Many Igbo communities operated largely through decentralized village republics. Numerous minority nationalities also maintained distinct political traditions. British colonial administration did little to foster genuine national integration. Like I said, their own agenda is to come, make the money via any means, and forget about our unity, our religion, our diversity. They are less concerned about that. And it's still happening to date. That is why with the IMF will tell Nigeria you can still borrow. That we are yet to reach the quarter where we can no longer borrow. They will now borrow Nigeria the money. The same IMF will now come around again and tell you that the money that the Nigerian government borrowed has not been spent, 8% of it was embezzled. You can see now that Yorubas will say, and to be on lotugba. That in Yoruba, and to share Ogun Arinoko Fanyo, Abi Ogun Aferi Fanyo, Osha Arinoko Fun. That is the herbalist that did the disappearing juju for the cockroach. For the cockroach, equally did the resurgence juju for the chicken to see it and kill it. These are serious issues. You see, like I've already said, we don't have much time on this program. This is history. It goes beyond the dates on the calendar. It goes beyond the newspaper headlines. We are going deep into the history of Nigeria. And that is why I will continue to appreciate and commend this present administration for reintroducing history back into the school curriculum, because any nation or any person that forgets its history is definitely preparing for a doom. It is only history that can make us to know where we are coming from, that can make us to know where we are, and possibly make amends where necessary, so that we can prepare for the future. It is on this note, I want to say a very big thank you to the management of this great station, in person of General Manager Engineer Paul Olotu, all head of departments, the engineering crew that has made this program a huge success, and to every other person that has contributed in one way or the other. I say a very big thank you to every one of you. And of course, so you, our listeners, like I've always said, if you aren't there, we won't be here. We are here because you are there. I want to say a very big thank you to you. To meet again next week on the same program, Echo of the Past, I remain your humble host,